You're talking about 10K here, right?
Yes, exactly. 10KTF.
So 10KTF, I think I initially came across this project like maybe a few months ago, and I found it very interesting. There was just this like picture, and then there are some like little clues here and there, and like I haven't really deep dived into the project, but I recently saw you posting a little bit about. So maybe do you want to talk a little bit about what it is and like what elements of storytelling or like can you just like double tap a little bit on that aspect of like storytelling?
Of course. So last September in 2021, a project launched, and it's told the story of an old Japanese man living in New Tokyo, which is a mythical city in the metaverse. And he was an artisan and he was a craftsman. And he was initially offering shoes and backpacks that you could get your PFP on it. So it was like the Bored Apes, Cool Cats, Mutant Apes, World of Women's, Onis, and a bunch more. And initially for me, I'm like, do I want to just waste 0.05 ETH on this? Because I feel like this is just like a one-off. Like I buy this and then they're like, here's a cool photo, and then they don't do anything with it. That was legitimately my initial thought about the project, and so I contemplated minting or not. And then I started seeing people post about it and tweet about it, and he doesn't do that about just anything, right? And I'm like, okay, so he's probably involved. I actually went into Beeple's server on Discord, and I just asked the community, I'm like, I keep seeing people post about this. Do you guys have any idea what his involvement is, if any? And not even like 3 seconds later, Beeple responds with just 4 shoes emojis. And that's what I'm like. And I'm like, Beeple, you son of a... And I'm like, okay, I got to mint this. So we learned like very shortly after, in just the coming days, that it wasn't just a one-off mint, that there was a story being told here, because about a week later, the Wagmi-san opened up his shop again, and he was now minting backpacks. But before we could finish minting the 10 hours that he promised, he stopped at 7 because somebody was after him, and we found that out on Twitter. He's like, I have to run early. I'm so sorry. Somebody's after me. And so obviously the question is, who's after him? And then you read the bio on Twitter, and it says, it tells a story, and then at the very bottom it says, and we don't want a repeat of what happened last summer. And we're like, what happened last summer? And so these are just the natural questions as humans you start to ask. And so what we've seen is, over the coming weeks, each week on Thursday, there's a new, just like there's a new episode of a show on TV, there's a new plot advancement in the story. And everything they do that's story related ties into Web3. So early on, instead of getting airdrops, because, you know, people were getting airdrops in the NFT projects, we got an airdrop, but it wasn't called an airdrop. It was Wagmi-san in the story was being chased by villains, and he needed to store his materials and tools with people he could trust. And so he's like, I trust you, Grailed. Grailed is like what you call the community. And so he gave them the materials and tools. Now, obviously, that was literally an airdrop, but the way that it was wrapped up in that story, it just added that extra bit of like, okay, this is special. This is cool.